We are live, ladies and gentlemen. We got a big episode live show for you today. We are going to talk about the secret hack for Capital One credit limit increase. I'm going to show you how to get a Capital One limit increase on your Capital One card with no hard inquiry. That's right. It's actually very simple. I'm going to teach you the entire process. So make sure that once you get into the room, you tell us where you're at, where you are from, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to let everybody get into the room, and we are going to get it cracking. Got a big show ahead of you guys. So again, welcome to the live. Going to unlock tonight. We're going to unlock the secret to Capital One's automatic credit limit increase system. No hard inquiries, no phone calls, just behavior-based increases. So drop a 1 if you've got a Capital One credit card. Drop a 1 if you've got a Capital One credit card. Drop a little credit card if you want a higher limit, ladies and gentlemen. Tell us where you're from. There we go. We got people rolling into the room. We got Pittsburgh. We got California. You got PA, Pittsburgh, Idaho. Oh, we got some Capital One people rolling in. Chicago, Oklahoma. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot of Capital One people in the room. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You want a higher limit? That's what I'm talking about. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Chicago, Illinois. I'm coming here live from North Carolina. San Diego in the house. North Carolina in the house. I see you over there. Is that Texas? We got some credit limit increases. That's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Love to see the interaction from everybody. We got a lot of people coming in from YouTube. We got a little bit of a lag over there on Facebook. Facebook is lacking. Columbus, Ohio, South Carolina, Atlantic City, Virginia, Texas. All right, drop a 1 if you've got a Capital One credit card in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Drop a credit card emoji if you want to get a higher limit on that Capital One credit card, because we're going to drop some serious gems tonight for 100% free. I'm going to teach you how to do it. I'm going to tell you everything that nobody else is talking about out there, as I usually do, right? Am I just making up facts here? So thank you, everyone, for joining me on this Friday night. Just open up my Capital One savings and put 500 today. Good job, Michael. We got a lot of Capital One credit card holders rolling up into the room. That's what I'm talking about. Everybody, tell us where you're at, where you're from, so we can get this thing cracking. Bahamas. All right, we got Bahamas in the house. So we're going to go over the secret credit limit automatic system, okay? So a lot of people don't understand that being in the Capital One family, you have literally beaten the game, because you want to have 5, and I say 5 of the largest, 2 to 5 of the largest banks on your credit profile. So Capital One is one of them. American Express, Chase Bank, Citibank, and Discover Bank. Now, everyone be aware that Capital One has been approved by Discover Bank. So let's be really clear on that. It's very urgent that everyone take action as soon as possible, because this merger is about to go 100% live. Okay? Oh, here we go. Well, Capital One sees my Discover card secured deposit since I owe Capital One money from 3 years ago. Oh, that's a great question. Let's put this on the screen right here. We're going to interrupt the live right here, so we're going to answer this question. This is a great question. Time Creator says, will Capital One seize my Discover card secured deposit since I owe Capital One money from 3 years ago? Not common at all that Capital One will do something like this. I want to be really clear. We've never seen Capital One do something like this unless it's like very recent. But it's very rare if Capital One really seizes any money from a checking account. But I'm not going to say it hasn't happened. Well, I want to be really clear. But Capital One is one of the largest subprime lenders in the United States. So they're very forgiving about letting people back into the family and letting you rebuild. So I wouldn't be freaked out about it, Time Creator. I think you're going to be perfectly fine. Stay focused on rebuilding with Discover. And then getting that card to unsecure is very crucial. So again, if you just joined the live, we're going to talk about Capital One's automatic credit limit increase system. No hard inquiries, no phone calls, just behavior-based increases. Drop a 1 if you've got a Capital One card, or drop a credit card emoji if you want a higher limit, ladies and gentlemen. Long Beach, California is in the house. Love me some Long Beach. Love my Amex and Apple Pay. Hey, I love Amex, okay? I love Amex. Look, let me show you guys something real quick. Okay, that's my driver's license. I want you to see some. But you see all those Amex cards in there? Those are all my primary cards. I churn credit card points, so I've been enjoying this credit card life for a while. So let's go ahead and jump into this, guys. we're going to do a Q&A at the end of this live. So if you've got any questions, go ahead and drop them in here. I'll try to catch them all up, but we're going to do the Q&A at the end of this live. So behavior number one, okay, everybody? Behavior number one is consistent usage. Use 30 to 50% of your credit limit monthly. This is very important to understand. If you don't have usage and you're asking Capital One to give you a credit limit increase, why would they be motivated to give you more money? They really wouldn't. If you think about it, right? If you're not using money, they have no reason to give you more money. So we have to use that. An example, $300 to $500 credit limit, you want to use $300 to $500 usage on a $1,000 credit card. Avoid zero usage and avoid maxing out, okay? Especially if you're rebuilding with Capital One. Now, if you've got an established credit profile, you're perfectly fine, then you can max out as long as you pay off in full. That's very important to understand, okay, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, we got to put this up here right here. Sister right here, our fam right here, Steven done figured out the system. Steven Kronk, I have Capital One. I pay my bill every Sunday for the first 6 months straight, and they gave me a credit bump up to $1,000 without asking for it. So Steven right here figured out the system, unless you watched one of my videos. Okay, let's keep it real, Steven. I hope you watched one of my videos and found that out. But it's a simple process. He just used it, paid it off for 6 months straight, and they bumped him up $1,000 without even asking. That's exactly what we want to do, ladies and gentlemen. But the key here is to avoid $0 usage or 0% usage, which means you're not using the credit card. You do not want to do that because Capital One wants to see activity. They want to see you using card. Okay, so always remember that. Do not do zero usage. So now the second behavior, which is what we just talked about with Steven, is a huge one. It's pay in full method. I call it the PIF method. Pay in full every single month. Pay the balance before the statement closing date, not just the due dates, because this is going to boost your score and make you look responsible to Capital One. Now, it's very important to understand that a lot of people seem to have a hard time understanding this, that if you pay off your credit card by the statement closing date, then you need to stop using it for up to 3 to 7 days. Because once your statement closing date hits, there's 3 to 7 days from that statement closing date that they're going to report your balance. Now, they might report it right on the statement closing date or somewhere in that window. That's why I say 7 days. Because this is exactly how you control your credit score. And on top of that, you're going to show them that you're not carrying a balance. And on top of that, what's going to happen with Capital One is a lot of people don't understand. You only have something due on the due date because you carried a balance from the previous month. So if you don't carry a balance, you'll have nothing due on your due date. And then your due date doesn't matter. When I say that a lot of times, people are like, what do you mean your due date doesn't matter? I don't want to get a late payment. Of course, set your credit card to pay off in full every single due date if you have a balance that you're carrying, or at least the minimum payment. But understand, if you pay your credit card before the statement closing date hits, and then it hits, and you stop using it, and there's zero balance on it, then what's going to happen is, moving into your due date, you won't owe any money. The due date doesn't matter. And you can just focus on controlling your credit score with your statement closing date. Now, drop a 1 in the comment section if that makes sense to everyone. Drop a 1. I want to make sure that we understand this. Because listen, we weren't taught this in school. Let's be honest, okay? Nobody taught us how to use a credit card. Nobody taught us how to pay a credit card in high school, middle school, elementary school. So drop a 1 in the comments if you understand what I just said right now. There we go. I see everybody dropping a 1. Good job, everybody. I'm glad listen, if it sounds dumb or it sounds confusing, don't be afraid to drop a question in the comment like, yo, slow down, Mike. I don't understand you. I want to make sure that everyone really gets a full grasp of this because it's one of the most confusing things. And people think that, oh, the credit card wants to ruin my credit score. You know, Capital One hates me. Discover Bank hates me. No, they don't hate you. It's just we don't understand how to use our credit cards. Remember, this right here is very important. The pay in full method teaches you that you don't carry a balance and you never owe anybody money. The best feeling in the world is not owing anybody any money. I have over an 800 credit score and I don't owe people a dime. That's crazy, right? So the theory that a lot of people say that, oh, you have to be in debt, it's not true. We want to teach each other and everyone to stay out of debt. You can, in fact, have a high credit score and high limit credit cards with zero debt. I know that sounds crazy because everyone else wants to perpetuate that you have to be in debt. No, you don't have to be in debt, ladies and gentlemen. 2, what's the 2 mean, Sam? Sam hit the 2. Is that did you not understand it, Sam? When he hit the 2, I'm confused. I said hit the 1, but you might just accidentally hit the 2. So we're going to move on to the next stop. Behavior number 3, weekly transactions. This is very, very important. So check it out. Check it out. Here we go. So if I pay my credit cards a few days before the statement date, will that always ensure my score goes up? Yes, Aubrey. Yes, yes, yes. Because you're going to report as low as a balance as possible. Because 0 to 9%, let's start here. 0 to 6% is the sweet spot to squeeze out more points out of your credit score. Listen up, ladies and gentlemen. 0 to 6% utilization is the sweet spot to squeeze out more points out of your credit score. Okay? Then 6 to 10% is the next spot. You're still going to squeeze out points, but not as many. The moment you cross the threshold of 10% utilization, you start to lose points. So consistently paying off 0, remember what we said, 0 consistently, that's going to squeeze out more points. Now, there's a theory that if you carry 1% to 4%, you're going to get more points. It's a 10-point difference if you did not receive all your points. You could have received them previously over the months, and then I could have only received 1 of the 10 points. You got 6 of the 10 points. Someone else got 3, 2, 5, 8. Everyone's going to vary. So that's why the consistency is key when you're doing this. So I hope that gives you clarity, Aubrey. You're good, Sam. You're good. So behavior. Remember, behavior number 3 is weekly transactions. You want to make 4 to 5 small purchases every week. Notice how I said small purchases. I don't want you to put yourself in debt. I don't want you to go out there and buy stuff you don't need. You can simply, when you go to the gas station, put it on your credit card and then pay it off. Or you can be at work, use your credit card. This is, listen, this is, I'm going to put this on, I'm going to put myself on the screen. Put myself back on. When I was building up my credit score, I had low limit credit cards. And all I did when I was at work, I would buy a water in the actual vending machine. That was like $2. All week long, I would go in there and I would buy my water for $2. $2. And people were like, I noticed you use a credit card to buy your water. Yeah, because I don't need to use my credit card for anything else except for gas and maybe groceries. So I want to put that activity on my credit card. I want the credit card company to see I'm a responsible borrower. So I'll use the credit card for $1, or when I go to the gas station, buy myself a pack of gum for $2. And I'm not putting myself in debt, but I'm using the credit card and showing the credit card company that I'm a responsible borrower, and that's what they want to see. And then I pay off in full. It's a very simple process. You don't have to break the bank in order to have a good credit score. Remember that. So this keeps your account active in their system. This is very important. Subscriptions, gas, coffee, etc. Remember, small purchases keep it very simple. I love that. Let's see. Let me see. Let's put this up here on the screen. Aubrey said, I did that. Thank you. Awesome. Do I pay off my past statement balance by the due date, or do I pay off the current balance in full to raise my credit score quickly? Just pay off the current balance to raise your credit score quickly. This is the thing. So my wife had some credit card debt on her credit card. She didn't even realize she had. And I was an authorized user. I was like, yo, why are you carrying a balance on that credit card? She's like, I didn't even know. And I was like, just pay it off. And she's like, yo, you know what's so funny? I just looked at my credit score, and my credit score dropped because I was carrying such a big balance. And it was like we went on a trip and she put some things on a card and just forgot to pay it, but it was making the auto payment. As soon as she paid it off in full, the full current balance, the moment the credit card reported, her score shot right back up. Very simply. So if you're carrying a balance, or for whatever reason, let's say you're going through financial hardship, you put some balances on your credit card, as you chop them away, your score will increase. Okay, so understand that. You knock down that balance, if it reported, remember that as you knock it down, it's going to raise your credit score, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, it's a very simple process. Good job, Mo in the city. This right here, Michael Nava. I pay it off 2 to 3 days before the statement closing date. Now, this is very crucial because it takes usually 1 to 2, maybe 3 business days to process that payment. So if you pay it off 2 to 3 days before the statement date, and then you just don't touch the card once the statement date hits, you beat the game. It's really just that simple. Okay. So we got a great question right here. Dan. Do using reward points to pay off purchases is good as paying regular monthly payments? Actually, no. That's a great question, Dan. It does not help you because it does not count for your, it does, it's kind of confusing to explain. I'm trying to figure out an easy way to explain this. It helps you because you're not carrying that balance. So that's a great thing. But understand, it doesn't treat you the same when you use those rewards. Even though you have the ability to use them, that's what they're there for, because you gotta look at it like this. They're like, oh, he's not really paying it off with his money, but it still helps you keep that balance low. But you want to follow this process to get the credit limit increase. So yes, it's going to help you. Just make sure you're using that regular activity. Remember, like what we're talking about here, weekly transactions. And yes, it will still help you to pay off the balance with your rewards. You can do that, but it helps you more when you do it this way and you're actually paying it off with your own money. I know that sounds silly, but I want to give you 100% of the information so everyone knows. Now, make sure you hit that like button while we're in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, so more people can get into this room, share it to your friends and family, so everyone can learn how to do this. And once you get into the room, make sure to let us know where you're at and where you're from, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just now joining. Now let's go to the 91-day rule. A lot of people don't even know that this exists. We've heard so many different theories and so many different things. Now, when you're rebuilding your credit, I tell everyone, do not, if you have negative items on your credit profile, you should never be asking for a credit limit increase nowhere unless you're building with that specific credit card company for a minimum of 6 months, because I want you to get used to using your card responsibly and paying it off. Okay. And I don't want you asking for a credit limit increase when you're rebuilding your credit scores in the dumps. Okay. Las Vegas. What up? What up, Dan? So the 91 rule, Capital One reviews accounts every 91 days. This is very important to understand. So when you start this process, the clock starts ticking. Understand that. So don't manually request an increase too early. Let the algorithm trigger it for you. As our homie over here said, where at? We're going to go find him. We're going to go find him right here in the chat. Where are we at? Stephen Clark here said this. He actually did it for 6 months. I preach this a lot for people that are rebuilding their credit because it's very important to understand this. But he triggered the algorithm to do it on its own. He didn't have to do anything. Now, as you move and you progress, it's going to continue to give you more money. But we want to trigger the algorithm to do it on its own. That's very simple. Steven did a really good job here. He focused. He paid his bill every Sunday for 6 months. Made sure he cleared it off completely. And then they just gave him the money. That's how it works. So the 91-day rule is very important. Now, I'm going to cover also in the video a little secret for anybody that's having issues who got denied. And then I'm also going to give you a link to upgrade any Capital One credit card with no hard inquiry. This is my bonus. I'm telling you, okay? So stick around to the end, right before the Q&A, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm going to give you some sauce. I'm trying to give you as much as I can. Las Vegas via Los Angeles. That's what I'm talking about. I'm from East LA, born and raised in Bell Gardens and Whittier area, but I'm in North Carolina now. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, this 91-day rule is very crucial and important to stick to once you start the process. Because once you start the process, you want to move forward in the process that is going to actually help you. You see, I lost something here. 1 second. Give me 1 second. Where did it go? There it is. I see it. All right. Uh-oh. Hold on. I'm trying to adjust over here, ladies and gentlemen. I got multiple screens over here. They're kind of going crazy. So I'm trying to fix them. Watts, California in the house. Love me some Cali. Love me some Cali, ladies and gentlemen. So, all right. So we're at the 91-day cycle. Remember that. So has anybody else has anybody here ever had a credit limit increase before? Drop how much they gave you in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. If you got a credit limit increase from Capital One, let us know in the chat if they just gave you an automatic one and how much it was for. We love to talk about this. We want everyone to know exactly how this goes. Miami, Florida in the house. What up? I want everyone to be motivated. You know, we're going to put this up here on the screen. I heard that Capital One is closing accounts for credit cycling. I want to be really clear. That's not true, okay? Maybe somebody else had their account closed and there's other underlying issues. Capital One doesn't generally do that. I saw a video. Someone sent me the video on it, and I said, I'm not even going to respond to this because this guy is just rage baiting people, and he's trying to fearmonger. And I saw a lot of other people starting to jump on this trend. And I'm going to tell you right now, the way that I got my limits up even faster was credit cycling with Capital One. And I had zero problems with it. My son did it. My nephew did it. A lot of my clients, I taught how to cycle credit cards with Capital One. If you want me to drop it in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, how to cycle a credit card, drop a 1 in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Drop a 1 in the chat if you want me to tell you and explain to you what credit cycling is, because a lot of people don't know that. I tagged you in the video earlier. Okay. Was it on YouTube, number one? The number one stutter? The number one stutter? Oh, look, we got some in the chat right here. She went, Stallworth over here. Stallworth went from a $300 credit limit to $3,000 credit limit. Yo, that's a big win. That's a big, hey, and thank you for your service too. I see you right there. That's a Marine, I think. I think it's a Marine. Thank you for your service, Stallworth one. Okay. So we got another one here. David, it only happened to me once, but I wasn't using the cars properly. The one that did shock me. All right, $1,200 on a manual request after 6 months. There's nothing wrong with a manual request, Scorpa. Okay, that's a great job. So there we go. There we go. Got a lot of ones. Oh, on TikTok. Okay, I'll go check it out. Number one stutter. I'll go check it out on TikTok. I am on TikTok for those who don't know. Hoorah! Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. So, I think a lot of people don't say that enough, man. I think everyone needs to say thank you to Stallworth for his dedication and his services. That, I mean, people dedicate their lives to keeping us free. The things that they have to do. So everyone needs to say thanks to Stallworth there for his support. Let's see. Here's another one. Here's another good one. My saver account with Capital One gave a $2,500 increase. Account was Walmart credit card. Hey, that's a huge win, Dan. That's a huge win. Huge win. There we go. There we go. There we go. May have been on accident, possibly, but that's still a win. Mike, I used your link in November 2024, and I got upgraded from the platinum, which I had forever, to the Quicksilver. Congratulations, Mercy. Congratulations, Mercy. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So we're going to move on to the next slide. Now, if you've been denied for a credit limit increase, ladies and gentlemen, drop a 1 in the chat if you've ever been denied. Drop a number 2 in the chat if you've ever been denied for a credit limit increase. Drop a 2 in the chat if you've ever been denied for a credit limit increase by Capital One. Hey, don't be embarrassed. We're all growing here. I've been denied. I'm going to keep it real with you, okay? When I didn't know what I was doing until I figured it out. There we go. There we go. There we go. That's a lot of 2s. See what I'm saying? I'm glad that I'm able to help everybody here. He said 2. Hoop kid's been denied a lot. That's a lot. Hey, Michael Nova, congratulations on taking those big steps. You know, just started watching your videos. So he's working on his credit. Let's give him his props, Mike. From one mic to another mic, okay? So yeah, so if you've been denied for a credit limit increase, now you want to do this during business hours, because if you do it, I think it's past 9 p.m., you go into the late night hours, and then customer service takes forever. So you want to do it during regular business hours. Call and ask for the denial reason, ladies and gentlemen. Call and ask for the denial reason, okay? The Elito podcast show, I got denied 2 days ago. So Elito, call and ask for the denial reason code, okay? Also, a lot of people will get denied and you'll actually get a letter in the mail or by email. So check your email and pay attention to your letters in the mail. They're going to tell you exactly why you got denied. So if you've got denied, you can fix the issue, which is usage, payments, or income. These are the 3 reasons, ladies and gentlemen. Usage, payments, or income could be the reason why you got denied for a credit limit increase, or you're just not getting it. As we went through the steps to teach you how to move forward, this is where you need to understand what to do if you get denied. Don't be embarrassed. We're just going to reset our strategy, and we're gonna keep moving forward. So when you call Capital One and they say it's a usage issue, it's not enough usage, or they say low income reported, or they'll say recent delinquencies, because if you got any collections or charge-offs that recently popped up, they're going to catch those. Now, low income reported, update income in the app if you have side hustles, if you're married. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to update your income. When you look at your income on Capital One, it clearly states your combined annual income in your household. Listen to the keywords that they gave you there. Household. So if you have a son that works in your house, a wife, aunt, uncle, mother-in-law, whoever lives in your house, you can combine all of that income into one. As long as you don't put something crazy on there, they're not going to ask you for any type of documents. This is what we call stated income. Yo, what up, the amateur? Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Let's put them up on the screen right here. Amateur right here. Appreciate that. Definitely love that. Appreciate it so much. Thank you so much, brother. Love the support. Now, let's see. Oh, I love this story here. So Aubrey's been denied, not by Capital One, but denied for a credit limit increase by Discover. So this is very similar. This process is very similar to Discover Banks. So if you follow this process, this actually should work with Discover Bank. I'm going to be honest with you. Discover Bank is very stingy. I've got a crazy credit profile, and I remember they gave me like a $1,000 credit limit increase, and I listened. And I laugh and I chuckle about it, because if you saw my credit profile, you'd be like, whoa, this is crazy. They only gave you $1,000. But I have credit cards for $20,000, $30,000. I even have a credit card that has a $50,000 credit limit. There's a lot of $10,000, $15,000. There's a lot of credit cards on my credit profile. So when they gave me a $1,000 credit limit increase, I'm like, bro, what am I supposed to do with that? Yeah. But you have to, like, if I was starting out, that would have been a big deal. So I don't want to make it seem like, oh, it's not a big deal. No, it's still a big deal. But depending on your credit profile, it's going to matter what they give you. So pay attention to that. But I'm going to tell you right now, Discover Bank is stingy. So it's going to be interesting to see how they act once they get with Capital One. Is Capital One going to open up the floodgates and put out more? Possibly. I don't know. So paying the balance on or before the closing date for a consecutive 4 to 6 months gave me a $2,500 credit limit increase on my Capital One BJ's card. Congratulations, Juan de la Cruz. That's big, bro. Congratulations. That's a huge deal. Celebrate that win. Let's see this one. I had the low Quicksilver and saw the video to reapply for a Quicksilver card, and they gave me a $1,000 credit limit. So what do I do with the small balance? Follow this exact recipe as we're doing right now, Nisi Staples. Follow this exact recipe, and this right here is going to get them to raise those credit limits. Watch this video from the beginning if you just joined, or replay it, okay? So 2 with Chase, letter advised my balance is low and little usage. There you go. There you go. That's right. That right there. Chase is telling you how to fix it. See, ladies and gentlemen, when you get those letters, you have to use them. And like I said right here, if you've been denied, here's the fix. Fix the issue. They're telling you what to do. Because remember, credit card companies want to see that usage with the hopes that you're going to get in debt and pay them interest. But we're not going to fall for that trick. We're going to pay off our credit cards in full every single month. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. But first off, I want to give a special shout out to all my beasters out there that are using DisputeBeast to fix their credit, and specifically to Raphael right here. My guy Raphael, Jesus, this is the first time I saw they just loaded this up. That's 463 points after was that like maybe like 60 days with DisputeBeast? 463 points after 60 days with DisputeBeast. That's wild. All right, Joshua's credit score went up 253 points after about 60 days also with DisputeBeast. Then we got John. Let's not forget John over here. John, boy, that's crazy. 247 points after literally 2 rounds, or sorry, about 60 days with DisputeBeast. 87 points from TransUnion, 116 with Experian, and 44 points with Equifax. Now, there's going to be a lot of people, oh, that's just 3 people. Not a big deal, Mike. What are you talking about? Not a big deal. Okay? Okay, you're right. Let's go and put them all up on the screen here. These are the most recent credit score increases. We've got 376 points with Dwight after 30 days with DisputeBeast, 176 points with Tiffany after 30 days with DisputeBeast, Umiko 371 points after 30 days with DisputeBeast, and then Nathan 143 point increase after 30 days with DisputeBeast. And then we have Luis has 261 points increase after 30 days with DisputeBeast. That's pretty crazy. DisputeBeast is going to be in the video description and pinned at the top of the comments for anyone that needs to fix their credit. That's it. Those were huge. Yo, whoever my team loaded these up, they're crazy. Even the whole thing. So I'm gonna drop it in the comment section. If you are on Facebook, if you just comment Beast, then DisputeBeast will be actually sent to you through DM. Okay. Oh, look at let's put them up right here. This is crazy. Okay. We got some people right here in the chat. Not even a full month with DisputeBeast, and my score shot up over 100 points from Darnell. Shout out to Darnell over there. We're not going to forget about you, homie. Shout out, Darnell. And then we got Scorpa. Scorpa's score went up 130 points with me recently after his first attack, which is about 30 days, 45 days max. That's pretty awesome. Congratulations, everyone that's working hard to fix their credit over there. And remember, DisputeBeast comes with a 110% money-back guarantee because I stand behind it. I believe it, and I know that it works. It's proven, and we bring different results to every single live. And whenever I talk about results in other videos, I try to bring as many different ones as I possibly can. Who else does that? They always show one result. One result. I've got thousands. I've got an entire drive with thousands of crazy results. So, yeah, let's get back to the live, ladies and gentlemen. So, here we are. Let me look at the chat. Oh. Great question, Scorpa. What's the max we should put on the income part? Don't go crazy, okay? Especially if you can't prove it, okay? If you're a high income earner and you make $250,000, you can prove it, then put it, okay? But this is the trick that I want to say. This is a huge gem. Drop a gem in the comment section. If you want me to drop this big gem about stated income, drop a gem in the comment section. If you're ready for me to give you this sauce, ladies and gentlemen, drop a gem. Because I'm about to tell you something that nobody else talks about, as usual. Okay, because we got a lot of amateurs on social media that are talking about credit, but they don't really know what they're talking about. Okay, drop a little gem in the comment section. There we go. I need at least 5 gems in there. 5 gems in the comment section, and I'm gonna tell you this crazy process that I tested. It's tried, true, and tested multiple times. Okay, I know for a fact it works. I've used it with thousands of my clients. The biggest mistake that people make when they put their income on their applications, they put stated income, and if they make $250,000 a year, they're going to automatically put the $250,000 on their first time. Okay, don't do that, ladies and gentlemen. Do not put your full stated income on your application, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, all these gems coming in. Do not put your full stated income on your credit card application, because then you will have no room to grow. Okay. When I first start off on credit, I start off with 40,000. And then in 6 months, I added it up. I went in there and I updated my income in the app. I went up to 50,000. Another 3 months, 91 days. Because remember, 91 days is the key here. Another 91 days, I added another 10,000. And then I think it's like once I hit 65,000, I bumped myself up to 90,000. So you see what I'm doing there? I'm stacking all the way until I get to where I'm actually really at. Now, you can go all the way up to $250,000 without triggering anything crazy. Okay? I don't recommend that, but I'm telling you, I have tested it even before I was making money, and it does work. Okay? But I always tell people, don't go past 150,000 if you don't feel comfortable. Okay? What up, Joe? I see you over there. The carne asada al pastor, the tripitas, the carnitas. I hear you, bro. So remember, you want to incrementally add those updated incomes. Don't go for the whole gusto and blow your load so quick, because then, okay, you go from 200,000, you're like, okay, 210,000 now? Huh? Yeah. And Capital One's gonna be like, I had a client, let me tell you a quick story. I had a client and I told him what to do, and he makes a lot of money. He's like a multimillionaire, but yeah, horrible credit. It happens more than you can ever imagine. And he went for the gusto and he made 1.5 million after I told him, do not put that on your application. They put him up for a financial review where you have to submit your pay stubs, and they want to see tax returns. Okay. And he's just like, that's ridiculous. I was like, I told you not to do it. It's not necessary. It's not going to get you more money. Because understand this, I'm going to drop another gem here. Another gem, ladies and gentlemen. When you apply for another credit card, your stated income doesn't matter, because what plays a huge role in it, what's on your credit profile. If you have a bunch of low limit credit cards, what's going to happen is, if you only have 300, 500, and 700, your highest credit card is an $800 credit limit, and you go apply for another credit card, they're not going to give you much more than 800. Maybe you'll get lucky if they give you 1,500, but they're going to give you based on your experience on your credit profile. So as an example, me, who I have high limit credit cards, I have 30,000, 50,000, 20,000, and I go apply for a credit card with another credit card company, they're going to also give me a high limit credit card right out the gate. So when you structure your credit profile, you want to start off getting high limit credit cards. Like a great example, I'm going to find it right now. I'm going to find it right now, and I'm going to post it up here. So give me 1 second. It's a huge accomplishment that my son actually accomplished. I'm going to put it up in the chat so everyone can see. My son just turned 19 years old yesterday. Lucas, he's a fresh up and coming creator, but he just turned 19. Now, he started building his credit like he was about 18 and a half is when he really started like really doing what I told him to do. He actually follows through. And I was like, you're taking forever, bro. You're slowing this process down for yourself. He's like, yeah, I know, Dad. I got lazy. So once he started actually following the process, then everything started to happen. This is his first big credit card. He only has a $1,000 credit limit credit card. And Navy Federal, after he followed my process, gave him a $15,000 credit card. His stated income is only $40,000. I know that sounds crazy, right? It sounds crazy. A 19-year-old has a $15,000 credit card. He's a responsible young man. He's got money in the bank. He's got a full-time job. He's got his own place at 19 years old, and he got a $15,000 credit card. So now moving forward, when he gets more credit cards, they're going to see that credit card, and they're going to give him another high-limit credit card. Drop a 1 in the chat if this makes sense to everyone. Drop a 1 in the chat if this makes sense to everyone, okay? Yeah, so these are right here. This is a good example right here. Hey, Mike, I have a Surge credit card. Crap, but they gave me $1,000 credit limit after 5 months. So these credit cards, Surge credit cards and stuff like that, everyone needs to stay away from them. Stay away from those no-name credit cards because they're going to cap out at a certain cap. And then their interest rates are outrageous, and they have fees that are hidden. for a lot of different things. Now, some surge credit cards are different from others. There's all types of different, we call these subprime credit cards. Okay, you can go from that $1,000 credit card to a $15,000 credit card with a credit union if you do it right. You see the difference? So yeah, that's pretty crazy right there what my son accomplished at the age of 19. A $15,000. He was even shocked on the phone. I walked him through the process over the phone. He said, "Dad, you know, it's been 91 days. Are we ready to roll?" And I said, "Let's do it, son." He immediately FaceTimed me and called me. And he was just like, "I can't, is this real?" I said, "Yes, it's real, son. You just follow the process." So we want to stay away from all those crappy low limit credit cards, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. I'm going to answer this question. Then we're going to move on to the next step. I had 2 loans with the credit union. As you know, with credit unions, they cross collateralize. One loan went bad. I paid off. One went bad. Other I paid off. The credit union won't give me the title to the vehicle I paid off. The bad loan they wrote off. How do I get the title to the car I paid? Well, that's crazy. I think you're going to have to. It really depends on the contract and the agreement. Josh, you're going to have to look at the contract and the agreement for that loan that you took. Because if there's something in there that says they can keep that as collateral, then you have a problem. Okay? The only way I would talk to a local consumer law attorney also. This is kind of a tricky situation, okay? All right. Yeah, that's a crazy one. Oh, this is a great question. I'm going to answer this one too. What's the difference between DisputeBeast versus consumer law? That's a great question, Henry. DisputeBeast is the only software, okay? DisputeBeast is the only software that uses Metro 2 compliance attacking, consumer law, and factual disputing. Those are the 3 different types of way that you can dispute something. And DisputeBeast is the only platform that can do all 3 at the same time, or it picks a specific one based on your specific issues. As you move along in the process, it's going to adjust and move to whatever your issues are, because the AI is very advanced and it wants to give you the best path possible. So whether it be consumer law, factual disputing, or Metro 2, or all 3 at the same time, DisputeBeast is the only one that can do all of them. I hope that makes sense. A lot of people don't understand that, but that's what makes it super advanced also. Barbacoa. Yeah, barbacoa, bro. All right, let's see. All right, here we go. I was told, I was bucketed, that I can't get a credit limit increase. Is there such thing? No. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and debunk all of these clowns on social media saying, you're going to be in a bucket and then you're not going to be able to move forward. So it's really hard to get out of the bucket with Capital One. I have proved that this is a myth. I don't know how many times. I'm giving you the sauce right now, the entire process on how to get a credit limit increase. Right here. The process works. I've done it with thousands of people. These are some of my biggest videos on YouTube, and people in the comment section, it worked for me. It worked for me. It works. So I'm literally debunking all of these people out there that are spreading these rumors about buckets. I've never been stuck in a bucket. I have great credit. I started at the bottom too. Hey, T the couponer. He knows what he's talking about. I always learn something. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. All right. Let's move on to the next one, ladies and gentlemen. I think we dragged that one out too long. Credit limit increase friendly Capital One cards. So there are different cards that are Capital One credit limit increase friendly. The Quicksilver, the Saver One, and the Venture One. If your card's not on that list, then unfortunately it's not friendly, but you can still get to work, and I've seen it work with the credit rebuilder cards. I'm going to give you an example. My first credit card with Capital One, and I still have it. Let me go ahead and get up on the regular screen. Hold on one second. Is the Platinum card, the oldest Platinum card of all Platinum cards. I kept it because I want people to know that this is real, that I've been doing this for a long time. That was my first credit card because I didn't know any better. Okay? It's my oldest credit card. And then they upgraded it to this card, which is still the Platinum, but it's unsecured. And this has like a $2,500 credit limit or something. It's my oldest credit card. I don't really care, to be honest with you. But I start off with a $300 credit limit. So even if you start off with a secured or just a regular Platinum credit rebuilding one, follow the process, ladies and gentlemen, and it will work. Now, so remember, Quicksilver, Now there's like I think 3 or 4 Quicksilvers. So it's going to work with all Quicksilvers, all with Saver cards, and with Venture cards. The Venture one, okay, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see what. We got a good question right here. My account is being garnished. Is there any way to stop it, even though I'm on my second round with DisputeBeast? You're gonna have to find a consumer law attorney, brother, or sister. Not sure what number one stutter you are. You're gonna have to get an attorney to try to stop the garnishment. That's really the only way that I know that you can stop a garnishment. I don't have any other way to stop it, unless you could prove that they didn't serve you properly and you represent yourself in court. I always say don't represent yourself in court unless you're really prepared, because these lawyers are ready to fight and ready to eat you up. So I would highly suggest that you find a consumer law attorney in your local area. Hey, I appreciate it, Gentle Hiller. Thanks, Mike. You're greatly appreciated. Hey, thank you. I appreciate you. What's the best strategy to get an Amex card having a credit score in the high 700s? This is a great question, ladies and gentlemen. This is a great question. I like to do, whenever I apply for anything, this applies to any credit card, ladies and gentlemen. Drop a 1 in the chat if you want me to drop another gem right now, because I'm going to drop another gem. So when you prepare yourself, drop another 1 in the chat, because I'm about to drop another. If you want me to drop this gem about how to prepare your credit profile when you're going to apply for something. The biggest mistake that people make when they're applying for credit cards, they don't prep their credit profile. Rule number 1, you need to know where your FICO bank card score 8 is, ladies and gentlemen. Your FICO bank card score 8. Very few lenders will use a FICO bank card score 9, okay? I want to be really clear on that. Your FICO bank card score 8 is exactly what they're going to look at when you apply for a credit card. Now, if you're going to go apply for a car loan, they're going to look at your FICO Auto Score 8. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, your FICO Auto Score 8. Now, these are what we call industry-specific credit scores. I'm going to drop it in the chat right now. You need to know exactly where your score is at. Okay, Mercy? You need to see exactly where your FICO Auto Score, your FICO Bank Card Score 8 for American Express. Now, there's only one place that will give you your FICO industry scores for $1 on a 14-day trial. That's My Score IQ. I dropped it in the chat. If you comment scores on Facebook, it will automatically send it to you. Now, once you log into your My Score IQ account, go onto the credit reports page, then slide right underneath the personal information. You'll see the industry-specific scores. I'll put it up on the. Let me see if I can put this up on the screen. So give me 1 second. I want you guys to see all of these industry-specific scores so you can really know how to move properly, because this is one of the biggest things that, of course, nobody else talks about because they don't really understand how this works. Because my job is to try to get you approved for anything I possibly can, as long as you do everything responsibly and you're keeping yourself out of debt. I'm gonna take you off the screen right here for a second, Mercy. See right here, pause the video or screenshot it. Sorry, screenshot the video so you can see these are all the scores that lenders are going to be looking at. So the most commonly widely used is a FICO 8 is used across all platforms. If you're going to apply for auto lending, is your FICO Auto Score 8. Now, if you want to apply for a credit card, that's going to be your FICO Bank Card Score 8 or Bank Card Score 9, very uncommon. If you want to apply for a home, they're going to pull your FICO 2, 4, or 5. Those are going to be the 3 choices. So understanding and knowing where your credit score is at, that's rule number 1. I really wanted to give you clarity on that. Now, step number 2 is going to be making sure that your utilization is very low when you apply for a credit card or anything. In all honesty, the bank wants to see that you don't have debt. So if you're out there applying for credit cards or auto loans or homes and you got a bunch of debt, the bank's gonna be like, bro, we don't want to give you any money. You got all this debt behind you. get your credit card balances down to below 0 to 4% maximum. But 0 should be your target goal anytime you apply for something. What I do is I prep my credit profile, make sure everything's zeroed out, but they all have activity, of course. And there's a difference between activity and zeroing out an account. A lot of people don't understand that. My cards are all active. So you zero everything out, you find out what your score is, zero everything out, and then you apply for the credit card. This is going to give you a higher chance of approval. We don't want to give them any reason for any type of denial, and you want to make sure that you don't have a lot of hard inquiries. You should only have 2 to 4 hard inquiries in the most recent 24 months on your credit profile. Anything past 4, you need to work on getting rid of those if you don't have them attached to any open or closed accounts. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was a lot. We just gave you a lot, okay? All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, still holding you back. All right, so if you got items that are holding you back, you have to understand that you need to fix these items. So if you have collections, charge-offs, late payments, any late payments in the most recent 24 to 48 months has high impact. It's still affecting your credit score. So you want to make sure that you get all of those negative items off of your credit report, because even if you have a decent credit profile and you have some new negative items on your credit report, they're still going to hurt your approvals. Because if you have a recent collection or charge off, a high balance, late payments, why is the bank going to give you more money? Does that make sense to everybody? You know what I'm saying? So DisputeBeast can do any types of hard inquiries. Now, DisputeBeast is very advanced in the sense it's super easy to use. You set up your credit monitoring with Beast Credit Monitoring, set up your free account, and then you merge them. Watch the video right there in the screen. You see there's a big play button. That's the video to understand how to set up your account. Watch that video right there. Once you merge your accounts, it'll pull your credit report into the system. Once it pulls it into the system, it's going to tell you exactly what is hurting your credit. And then you don't have to choose anything, only the late payments and the hard inquiries. And it's going to tell you, do not attack any hard inquiries that are attached to any open or closed accounts. Another great example is if I have a Navy Federal account and then I applied for a credit card, but Navy Federal denied me, do not attack that hard inquiry. Even if you got denied and you didn't get the card, you still have active accounts with Navy Federal, and that can be deemed as fraud, and then they shut down your entire account. So you don't want to attack those hard inquiries that way. DisputeBeast will tell you what not to do so you don't fail. It's the only system that does that. Once you click the big blue button to start your attack, it's going to create your letters. Very simple. Once it creates your letters, then it's going to tell you, would you like us to mail these letters on your own? And it's going to email you your copies of your letters, and then you can print them and mail them out on your own. Or you can use the mailing partner inside of DisputeBeast and pay the mailing fee. And it's not trying to rip you off. It's charging you the base price for mailing. And then you let DisputeBeast mail them out for you. And then you wait 35 to 45 days at maximum. And then you come back and you start your next attack and see exactly what has changed or what's not changed. And DisputeBeast will do all of the work for you in the background. It will create your new round of letters. You mail them again, you start the process. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter if they send you any type of stall tactic letters. DisputeBeast knows how to move forward the next round if nothing has changed or nothing has happened. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you just have to sit back, keep sending attacks, and let DisputeBeast do the work. It's just that simple. When I created this with my partners, I wanted to make sure that we made it as simple and easy as possible so anybody can use it. Just got to watch that simple video. There's also live training once a week. There is support that is from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m., 7 days a week. So if there's ever an issue, you go inside your dashboard, you look at the support tab, send in a support request, and the support team will get with you. Very simple, ladies and gentlemen. You guys got any other questions? Let's see what we got over here in the chat. Where are we at, chat? Drop a gem in the chat if you felt like you learned a lot today on this live. Drop a gem in the chat if you felt like you learned a lot today in the live, ladies and gentlemen. And DisputeBeast is going to be in the video description. And I'm going to put it in the comment section. If you're on Facebook, just make sure to comment Beast, and the link will be sent to you through DM on Facebook. Drop a gem in the chat if you felt like I brought you some value and I taught you something new today, ladies and gentlemen. Ray, it's okay. Keep working forward. Listen, 4 to 6 rounds is standard practice in the process. Some people will see results early. Some people will see in the 2nd round, 3rd round, 5th round, 8th round. Everyone's going to be different because everyone's credit profile is different. So there's no such thing as, I see no improvement. You got to keep pushing forward, brother, because we're battling the credit reporting agencies, which are robots. It's AI. They're using AI. So we're using our AI against their AI. Don't get, what's the word I'm looking for? Don't get disheartened and don't think that, oh my God, nothing's happening. You got to keep pushing forward, ladies and gentlemen. This is all part of the process. Nothing happens overnight in credit repair. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm the only person that's going to tell you the truth. Okay, Eric, great question. So I know it says 45 bucks or something like that. It's $49.99 a month. But if I pay that 45 bucks, what else is going to cost me to get the first round accomplished? So the $49.99, you pay for your credit monitoring. So DisputeBeast can pull your credit reports into the system. You don't pay anything to use that. You don't have to pay anything else whatsoever. You can literally print your letters and mail them on your own. Or if you want DisputeBeast mailing partner inside Sprint Mail to mail them for you, you'll have to pay that fee because, of course, we can't print letters for free and mail them out for free. If we could, we would do it. Okay, I've never found a way. If you find a way, let me know. But you just pay the postage and the printing fee, and that's it, and you're done. There's no other hidden costs or hidden fees. I hope that makes sense. The number one stutter, always learn something new on every live. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Can we discuss scores for pulling equity for a home? Home equity lines of credit. You know what? I'm actually working on that right now. I'm actually working on putting together some content for that because I know a lot of people have a lot of really good positive equity. Now, generally speaking, they're going to pull from your FICO, your general FICO score 8. Now, when you go to do your equity line of credit, or you're just going to pull some type of equity out, some type of loan, because there's different types, okay? But the equity line of credit is the most common. It's usually going to be your FICO 8, your FICO standard 8, okay? What we got? So yeah, your FICO 8. And be very, very clear and aware and ask as many questions as you possibly can to understand. Hey, yo, Thunder, I see that Whittier Boulevard arch right there. I grew up in Whittier, bro. Small world, okay? I just saw that right now. So ask as many questions as you possibly can about whatever type of equity loan you're going to get. Either an equity loan, an equity line of credit. So let's say, for instance, an equity line of credit reports on your credit profile very uniquely. Very uniquely. Is that a word? Very unique. Okay. Depending on the equity line of credit, let's say they give you $250,000, and then you put that $250,000 on your credit profile, and then you decide you're going to pull $50,000. Well, it can act like a credit card in a sense, where it raises your utilization, or it may not. It depends on the lender. And it's very confusing to a lot of consumers because it can literally destroy someone's credit profile or not. Okay, being very clear. And that's why I said there's so many different lines of credit that they don't explain to you. So ask those questions to the lender that you're going to use and say, can you explain to me the reporting process and how the line of credit works? Like if I get 100,000 and I pull 50,000, is that going to go towards my utilization? Some of them do. Again, not all of them, but some of them do. I want to be really clear on that, okay? So yeah, Thunder Logo said, I got lots of equity. I need cash for a second home. There you go. Bro, the prices in California are crazy. But I could imagine if you came in early in the game, kind of like me, you got crazy equity. I think I've got like, I have to have possibly close to $300,000 of equity in this home that I live in right now, which is insane if you think about it, because we got it really low. It was a foreclosed home. Didn't need any crazy fixes, but we've made massive improvements to this home. So infinite equity, infinite equity. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, don't get discouraged, ladies and gentlemen, when you're working on your credit. It's not an easy process. It's not an overnight process. Do not get discouraged, because you have to put the work in and you have to do it all. You have to maintain your credit cards at low balances. You have to learn how to use your credit cards. Don't get any more negative items. Don't think that because you got some items deleted that it's okay to get more items. You start to like go down that path. There's some people that do that. You want to change all of your habits into not carrying any debt anymore and understanding how to move. Bank with the right credit unions. I can't stress that enough, that credit unions are the way to go. That's how I'm able to get these massive credit card limits. So now I have credit card limits. And when I went to, my favorite one was like, I think it was last year. Last year's when I applied for some Citibank cards for the first time. And I didn't really need them, but I was like, yo, I want to see what's going on with Citibank. Is it worth it? Is it not? And they right out the gate gave me a $30,000 credit limit. I was like, Jesus Christ, Citibank. And then I went for a second card with the same pool, and they gave me another $20,000 credit card. So it's totally possible. You just have to put the work in, ladies and gentlemen. And we don't want to get these cards to put ourselves in debt. We want to use our credit strategically to better our lives, to get lower interest rates, to be able to buy a home, to do fix and flips, to start our business, do all these things, but stay out of debt. I cannot stress this enough to you, because you do not have to have debt in order to be successful, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Richard, we're about to end the live. Just run it back, fam. We went over a huge one. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, our final words here, 3 behaviors, 91-day rule. So our 3 behaviors, let's run it back for our guy right here, Richard Torres. And then I'm going to get out of here. So there's 3 behaviors with Capital One credit limit increase. We want to trigger the system with consistent usage, ladies and gentlemen. That's behavior number 1. Use 30 to 50% of your credit limit monthly. Example, $300 to $500 usage on a $1,000 card. Avoid $0 usage and avoid maxing out your credit card in a new relationship with Capital One. You want to use it though. Show that you're using it. Now, behavior number 2 is pay in full method. I call it the PIF method. Pay balance before the statement closing date, not just the due date. This will boost your score and makes you look responsible to Capital One, because Capital One is one of the largest subprime lenders in the world, or in the United States at least. Behavior number 3, weekly transactions. Make 4 to 5 small purchases a week. This keeps your account active in their system. So just use subscriptions, gas, coffee. Go into the gas station, buy yourself a pack of gum. While you're at work, use the vending machine to buy yourself a snack or a water. Swipe. That $1, $2 transaction counts as a transaction. Very simple. Next up, the 91-day rule. Capital One reviews accounts every 91 days. Don't manually request a credit limit increase too early. Let the algorithm trigger it for you, because if not, you will have to wait 6 months until the next account review. So you want to do everything I'm teaching you for 91 days. Then once that 91 days hits, Capital One will automatically trigger the automatic credit limit increase, or you can go ask for it inside the app. If you've been denied, here's the fix. Call and ask for the denial reason code. This is very important that you ask for the reason code, because it could be usage, payments, or income. Now, you can update your income in the app. Now, rewind the video, go replay it, so you can see exactly what I'm talking about on how to actually properly state your income on your application. But you need to update your income as much as you possibly can inside of the app, so they can keep up with you, because they want to see if your income has changed in any way, shape, or form. And so you want to incrementally do that. Now, update it inside the portal. Don't call them. Update it inside the portal, because side hustles count. So like if you're doing DoorDash, freelance work, or Uber, etc., count those. Combined income also matters. So if you're married, you can put that on your application because it's stated household income. Now, credit limit increase friendly Capital One cards are going to be Quicksilver, Saver One, and Venture One. Now, there's a bunch of Quicksilver cards, there's a bunch of Saver One cards, and there's a bunch of Venture cards. All of them are credit limit increase friendly. Avoid secured cards or rebuilder cards. There's a little bit of truth to that and not truth. So we want to stay away from secured cards unless we absolutely positively have to. Okay? But if you do follow this exact same process, if you got a secured or rebuilder, and it will work, but it won't be as much as you would get a credit limit increase on a Quicksilver, Saver One, or a Venture, okay? Do not put something crazy on your credit limit on your income statement, because they will potentially ask you for a financial review, ask you for pay stubs, and possibly tax returns to prove how much you make. So don't do that, okay? Don't go outrageous. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I greatly appreciate everyone that came to the live. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and share this live so everyone continue to grow. And I greatly appreciate everyone. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend.